What's going on, everyone? I'm back with the second video of the day, and the second game was Manchester City versus Sheffield United. And Sheffield United, although they are bottom of the table, not having a good year at all, their structure remains the same, and in recent games there's been signs of hope for them that they can get results, they can grind out results, get points, and score a couple goals when they have to, but their shape and structure remains consistent. So this video is going to be made using Keyframe, and Keyframe is a great platform to use, and I'm just going to set up the chroma key here, super easy, so that my illustrations show up better. And again, Keyframe's super easy to use, but Manchester City and Sheffield United, two teams. Manchester City like to dominate possession, while Sheffield United are comfortable without having it and try to look to exploit the space that teams in possession leave when they're in their offensive phase, and they try to get goals off set pieces or in any way that they can. So moving ahead now, we're just going to look at the two shapes of the team, and right now I just want to focus. I started this picture with the teams out wide. Going to use this orange color for Sheffield, and then I'll use this teal color for Manchester City. So again, the ball starts in the half space with Fernandinho. City's not quite yet structured, but the ball starts here, and I wanted to just show right away the relationship between the wide players, which is the fullbacks, and the wingers. Also with Jesus and Gundogan will play a crucial role in this, but so right away we have Zinchenko in the wide area, occupying the exterior part of the wide corridor, and now we have Foden coming higher up the field through the half space. So they always have this diagonal relationship, and then while this is happening, since the space between the lines, I'll highlight it now, since the space between the lines, as I'm highlighting here, the space that is really dangerous and really crucial for creating opportunities and going into advanced areas. This space is now vacated by Manchester City, and from Foden's run in behind, which I will highlight again here, Foden's run in behind is angled to take advantage of the space of the jumping wide central defender. So with him going back, that will initiate Gabriel Jesus' movement into this area. So the key areas, they have a threat in behind, a player between the lines, and a player in the wide area controlling the structure and pulling the defense apart. So I'm going to highlight the defense from Sheffield United now. And these are pretty much the characteristics of the Manchester City team. They always want players occupying these roles, and they try not to use unnecessary movement when occupying this role, meaning if they can create free players just through their structure alone, they're more than happy to do that. So we see the lines of Sheffield United, and we start to see a vertical partnership forming between wide central defender and central midfielders, but the runs will dictate the overall position of Sheffield United. So moving forward, these pictures will become really clear, and the overall structure of Manchester City in possession is really interesting. They use inverted fullback in terms of using Zinchenko as an 8, and Fernandinho is a 6. So again, here's the movement we just talked about between wide players. Zinchenko holding the width, Gabriel Jesus occupying the space between the lines, and Phil Foden being the threat in behind now. So I just wanted to show you this one example really quickly, and now this same sequence will see a completely different structure from Manchester City and how that will affect them going forward, how they look to create space. And now just on the weak side here, we see Bernardo Silva coming into the half space, occupying this advanced position, and we'll see how this impacts Ferran Torres out on the wing. And then moving forward, I'm just going to highlight the key players in the midfield shape for Manchester City. These 4 players will form a diamond in the midfield paired with the back three from Manchester City in possession. They play with a back four out of possession, so that's a key difference. And just the spacing between these players and their movement, I just wanted to highlight them before we move on. And then now I'll highlight the lines from Sheffield because it is crucial when talking about Manchester City. We think about how the defense responds to it. So we have our 5-3-2 from Sheffield United, their natural formation, the structure they use every game. And now we're going to move on. Looking at Manchester City in possession now, and then now the ball is circulated to the weak side. We see Kyle Walker driving through the half space. In possession of the ball, Diaz and Laporte as the other two central defenders in possession of the ball again. And now we see the wide area. We'll look at Zinchenko, his movement coming inside. Foden will create the width, and Gabriel Jesus will affect the three central defenders. And Gabriel Jesus, he plays as a lone striker today, but his movement is crucial because with three central defenders from Sheffield United, so we have 1, 2, 3. These central defenders, their positioning is crucial, and in terms of manipulating their positioning, Gabriel Jesus will play a crucial role. And we've seen in the past City try and pin the wide center backs, creating space in behind. But today they go with the lone striker, who through his movement he will affect the defense, try to draw them out, and create chances for City in behind. So now moving on. So this picture again highlighting the base structure for Manchester City. We have three-man build-up. Clear three-man build-up occupying both half spaces in the central corridor, and then now we start to see Zinchenko coming inside into the half space with Foden now occupying the wide role, and that seems to be the base structure from Manchester City, with Foden in the wide area, Zinchenko as the attacking midfielder, moving up and inward from his fullback position, and now we see Zinchenko positioning himself Gabriel Jesus positioning himself between two defenders, which will then create space in the wide area. And the key for Manchester City in possession of the ball and things to watch for is when they circulate possession, what is the response of the Sheffield United midfielders and forwards? Because as we'll see in this next picture, these forwards will be tasked with controlling Fernandinho's movement, and they'll be tasked with controlling his movement by the use of the cover shadow and pressing the ball. So by doing this against a three-man back line and a single pivot, they will be drawn to one side. And then now, how does the midfield three cover the two forwards? And the key is when the two forwards are drawn to one side, what's the response on the weak side, and how can Manchester City force the midfield line to then jump and then create space where Zinchenko is positioned or Bernardo Silva will be positioned, or these players in advanced areas in the half space between the lines. So that's something to look forward to. And we'll see how they do that in the next picture. So here we are. Now we start to see the pressing from Sheffield United. So here's the picture, the first picture. And so now the ball is being forced into the wide central defender. And now we'll see the deeper striker go to press while putting Fernandinho in his cover shadow, which is a little bit dangerous, but it's something that Sheffield United do frequently, so they should be comfortable with it. And then our midfield three out of possession for Sheffield United. And now we start to see Manchester City's shape take place. So we can even highlight Manchester City in possession, occupying 3 central corridors. And now we have Fernandinho, Zinchenko, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva is a bit wider here, and now Fernandinho. So here's the shape from City. We know how Sheffield United will press, and then we will see how the midfield shift and the space that's left in behind. So going to the next picture. Here we are. So now, as we said, the 2 strikers were pulled to one side, and we see the response from the midfielders already, occupying Fernandinho, who's the pivot. And then we also see taking care of Zinchenko between the lines for the midfielders. So now this is going to create some asymmetry when shifting for Sheffield, as we see the wide midfielder of the midfield 3 is occupying a space between the lines, but as the ball is circulated to the near side through Kyle Walker, as the ball comes to Kyle Walker, I'll highlight him here, we will see the Sheffield United player step out, and this is going to create a space between the lines through the half space, and Manchester City can look to exploit. So another thing to look forward to, and again, this is down to the positioning of the back 3 and the lone pivot in possession of the ball. Just want to highlight it again, the 3-1 build-up shape, and then we'll look into the next picture. So then the ball didn't end up going to Kyle Walker like we said. It actually skipped him entirely because of the jumping, the premature jumping of the Sheffield United midfield. So they're a bit higher. We saw that the Sheffield United wide central midfielder jumped forward to create access to Kyle Walker to press, but now we see the shape of Manchester City and why it was so crucial. So we have Fernandinho, Zinchenko, Gundogan, and Bernardo Silva. So creating this diamond midfield shape, which will then affect the midfielders, creating potential to play between the lines through the half space, which I'll highlight here. The area of target, pretty much every game for Manchester City, is the half space between the lines. Between the lines for Gundogan, played in from Diaz, and now we can see what's the ripple effect of this. So I'll highlight Gundogan. Gundogan playing between the lines. We have forcing the Sheffield United defender to jump forward, and then this is when the wide interactions become crucial, because we have Ferran Torres now making a deep run in behind, trying to take advantage of the space left by the wide center back, and we see Gabriel Jesus pinning the other 2 central defenders through the weak side, and as a reaction of this, we have a player in the half space between the lines, we have a player threatening in behind, and then now Bernardo Silva is our player who creates width and maintains the structure of the field. So these are the 3 positions that are constantly being occupied by City. Doesn't matter really who occupies them, all that matters is they are occupied at the correct moments. But the ball's played in to Bernardo Silva from Diaz, and this will initiate a 3rd man movement back to Fernandinho, who will then have time and space to go forward with his momentum going up the field. So now we see clearly the structure, not blurry at all. We have the wide structure for Manchester City. Gundogan, Ferran Torres, Bernardo Silva occupying the 3 key spaces for Manchester City. And then now we have Fernandinho, who's usually covered through a cover shadow, but with a third man movement, it eliminates this potential. And then now it's important to look Zinchenko on the weak side, coming in as a central midfielder, Gabriel Jesus, and Phil Foden. So these three players occupying an asymmetric shape, because now Zinchenko, who has a similar role in possession as Bernardo Silva, he's occupying a space deeper in the half space, whereas now Gabriel Jesus is creating height and Foden is creating width. So again, these positions are crucial that they're occupied, but not so much how. And the width and distances between these players can be manipulated based on where they're trying to create space. So I'm going to highlight the Sheffield United shape just so we're really clear on the 5-3-2 structure, trying to prevent the ball being played between the lines centrally, center back jumping, and now we can see the shape, how Manchester City have manipulated it, and now the free player, Bernardo Silva, in the wide area, and potentially creating 2v1s in that area. So we're going to move on to the next picture. When the ball comes out to Bernardo Silva, and then now we have our wide area rondo. First, we'll look at the mutual help space. That's just going to be the space I highlight here. Pretty much the first line passing options. Mutual help space in a wide area rondo. I'll even highlight this space with this. Alright, just want to make sure the color was correct. There we are. So the wide area rondo is here, and then now we can see 1v1 situations forming with each of the central defenders and the Manchester City players. So here we are, 3 Sheffield United defenders, and we have 3 City players occupying each of them, creating a 1v1 situation with each center back taking away the superiority numerically for Sheffield United. So again, wide area rondo, using the free player and creating 1v1 situations with each of the defenders and trying to create this space in behind through runners. As we see here, Ferran Torres looking to take advantage of the space created by the jumping wingback, and then Gundogan will then come between the lines to take advantage of the space that he has left behind. So always moving into these dangerous areas and then having the stability to always recirculate the ball, often through Fernandinho. So then we're going to go to the last picture. Show the last picture now from Manchester City and their final ball in to create space in behind and how they take advantage of it. So we have our 5-3-2 again from Sheffield United. Just going to highlight them so we have a little bit more context. And then here's the position of Gundogan as the number 10, and City really overloaded the central corridor here. So by having him and Gabriel Jesus in the same corridor, higher up the field, this can draw some of the defenders out, which can then be taken advantage of by Gabriel Jesus in behind. And because of the 5-man back line from Sheffield United, there's more space and more versatility through the back line because they have more players, so in theory they have more cover, so they have more potential to jump, but this leaves space for Gabriel Jesus in behind to try and access. So last highlight here. Here is the space that City will try to take advantage of. So again, just wanted to highlight some things for you guys, show you what City's trying to do. I'll highlight their wide wingers. giving them stability and width on the ball, pulling this Sheffield United structure. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned a little bit about what Manchester City try and do, the spaces they occupy in possession. So I hope you enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be Manchester United versus Arsenal this afternoon. So look forward to it, and I'll see you guys later.